We had a great time at the Dallas International Film Festival.
Yes.
And you were like walking the red carpet, and you were the hit of the whole thing. We were just talking about before we came on. You just had prom.
Yes.
Okay, so again, so what? So you go to like a private school? Is that where you go to school?
Yeah, I go to a charter school.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
And so you guys just had prom. So what was that like?
Oh my goodness. Well, okay. It was amazing. It was
Right.
amazing. Everyone looked beautiful. Technically, I sneaked in because I am a sophomore. I snuck in. Technically, because I'm a class officer, I'm vice president of my sophomore class, I get a ticket to prom. So I got to bring one of my friends. So I went there with all of these juniors and seniors who I have never talked to before.
Right.
But I was throwing compliments and people were coming up to me and having conversations about like where I got my dress and all this stuff.
Right.
It was so amazing. And everyone looked beautiful. It was so amazing.
Okay, so now this is the reason why I mentioned this, just because, okay, do you realize that you single-handedly stole this film festival?
Thank you.
There was this buzz around you everywhere I went, and I'll tell you right now, and it was also not only of your obviously your acting chops, but it was like by the premiere on Saturday, everywhere I went, people were like, "I wonder what Megan Dalby's gonna wear tonight." Like, I mean, it was like everybody was talking about, and I was like, "I gotta meet this Megan." And so, what are you? You're 16, 17?
16, yes.
Okay, and you're already like a fashion icon.
Oh, thank you.
So you can tell your parents or anybody else that you might have exhausted going, I have to look a certain way. I'm telling you, it paid dividends. Do you know who Misha Barton is, the actress? She was in the OC. She recently did a run on Dancing with the Stars.
I do not.
She's a fashion icon as well, and she was the face of Calvin Klein for a while. And
Okay.
This is in the 2005. Like, I don't know what the teen drama is right now, but in 2005 it was the OC. Okay. Anyway, so the night of the premiere, when you guys did on Saturday, I actually was interviewing her out here at the Texas. This was a horror festival, so I was doing double duty, going back and forth. So this is Misha Barton right here. Okay.
Oh, she looks familiar.
Okay.
Yes.
So the reason why I mentioned her was because I was telling her about you. Okay.
Nuh-uh.
Yes, because we were.
Oh my goodness.
We were sitting at a round table with her and Carly Schroeder, who's another actress, and she was on Dawson's Creek. And remember, there was a show back in the '90s, and anyway, and so we were talking about fashion and style and new up and coming people, and I was like, well, I'm actually right in the middle of the Dallas International Film Festival, okay, and you need to meet Megan Dalby. And she's like, yeah, really? And I was like, she is killed this red carpet and killed this festival. So congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you so much. It's funny that you say that because when the red carpets were kind of sprung on us.
Right.
And so when I heard that I had 2 of them in like less than 24-hour notice,
Right.
I was panicking because I was like, I have nothing to wear. I have absolutely nothing to wear. And so I was texting my mom and I was sending her like heels and I was like, no, I need these. I need this shirt. I need this skirt. I was freaking out. And then we ended up going with the black 2-piece I wore on the first night, and the black heels I already had. So all of the clothes that I wore were stuff that was already in my closet, but I was so nervous about wearing them because I was like, what if somebody is like, oh, she wore that last year. I was so scared. So thank you so much.
No, it paid dividends. I'm not kidding. I mean, you have 4-star editors for the news site to actually include every outfit that you wore for whenever we submit the coverage. So again, if you exhausted anybody, tell them, you know what? It paid dividends. So congratulations on that. It was outstanding. And so that was what was so funny because I remember I was there Thursday night. And again, you have a great PR team. You guys walked 3 times, which is great.
Yeah.
And I actually wasn't there on the actual premiere because again I was doing this, so I saw the movie I saw the movie the night before because Kelly gave me a screener.
Okay,
so before we talked and stuff. So I wanted to ask you: did you have any? What kind of prepared you for this role of Edge of the World?
When I read the script and I saw that she came from kind of a troubled background, which I cannot relate to because I love my family. I was thinking about I put myself in a mindset of what it would be like to not always have like an amazing mom and dad to fall back on, or even like a sister.
Yeah.
And so it was weird to think about, but once I started thinking about it, I honestly feel like it opened my eyes to so many new perspectives about how even the most amazing kids can come from anywhere, like any type of family, any type of home, and you just don't know. So that was definitely interesting to play.
I have to do that now. Were you familiar with because that's a real place? It's called. Tell our viewers and our listeners what that place is actually called.
The Cal Farley Boys Ranch.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now y'all didn't actually shoot it there.
We did. We shot some at the Cal Farley's.
So there was some stuff shot on location. Okay. I was going to ask you about that.
I'm pretty sure most of it was shot on location.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, because I know there's a couple of scenes that were shot on sound stages. I mean, it was, but in terms of all the exterior shots and all the stuff that was shot on location was actually there.
Yeah, all of the time that I was there, I was always in Cal Farley's, and we ate lunch with them.
Okay.
And the scenes where the boys are in the rooms, those are actual rooms.
Oh.
So all of it was genuine. And the stop sign, that was there. Well, I take that back. I think we put in the stop sign, but the location was there still.
Okay. So no spoilers, those who haven't seen it, but there is a very significant stop sign that plays a role in your character.
Yes.
And I thought you were outstanding in this, and the reason why I thought it was so great too was that do you have any, I mean, being from Texas, have you been around horses? Have you had any background with that? Did you have to learn how to do that?
Oh my goodness. Well, I had to learn. And I trained on a very lazy horse. And I remember because it was my cousin's trainer. It was some kind of like family friend type thing. And so we went and I rode and I learned and I loved it.
Right.
And then on set, when it was time for me to film a scene where I was riding on my horse because I was going home, which actually got cut from the movie, the horse that I rode on, I had to ride to our location. So it was like a 15-minute horse ride, okay?
Right.
And I was with a girl who was like part of the ranch, and she was the horse leader, I think you call it. But my horse tried to buck me off and did not want me on it. So we were almost to location, and the horse turns around and starts running off. And I was like, because that had never happened to me. I have not been riding for over a week. And so I'm freaking out. I was like, I don't know what to do. She goes, pull back, and squeeze your legs. And I was, and the horse was not having it. And the horse is trying to buck me off, and I'm terrified. And so eventually the horse stops. And she comes back, and she's riding along next to me. And we get to location where we have to, like, film.
Right.
And so there's a bunch of, like, dead thorns and thorn bushes and all this scary nature gross stuff all around me. And the horse, once we started filming, did it again. And it turned around, and it tried to buck me off even worse this time. I'm not sure how I stayed on, because I'm very tiny, and a horse is not that small. But it tried to buck me off, and I stayed on, and then we ended up having to film the scene, or film the shot so tight on me because we had to have the other horse right next to me so it wouldn't run off.
Talking about, of course, you just had prom
Yes.
at school. So what is the climate like for you at school? I know you go to a charter school, but I mean, people know you're an actress. Does that create any sort of, too much attention or any sort of...
Well, the school that I go to is a fine arts school.
Okay.
So everyone there has some kind of like special quirk about them.
Right, okay.
And I don't talk about my film acting at school purely because I want to stay as modest as possible.
For sure.
And I feel as if like if they want to know about it, then they can come see me.
That's
but
right.
I'm not going to walk around and like, oh my God, I'm in blah, blah, blah. But all of my friends, everyone there is so supportive of everyone, and it's such a homey it's such a homey environment, and I honestly feel like I could do anything and everyone in that school would be right behind me, like cheering me on, even if I was dancing, which I'm not that good at. But it's such a good environment. I'm so lucky to be in a place like that.
So it's almost, I mean, without of course the the troubled wayward kids, but it almost mirrors the support system that we see in the film with Edge of the World. And it's so great that you do have such a great support system, and I love how egoless you are, and it was one of the reasons why we also wanted you on here, because I was like, this is the kind of people you want to support,
Yes, thank you.
And so, but when you remember a moment when you came to your parents, or you came to the moment on your own when you realized that this is what you wanted to do, that acting was kind of like, when did you get a feeling of that, or a notion that you could do this?
Well, I started acting when I was 8 years old, and I did it was a summer program at this old theater, CATS, or Creative Arts Theater School.
Right.
And it was one of those things where you just sign up, you get a part, and you kind of workshop it, you put it on for your parents, and that's kind of said and done. And it was Aladdin, and I was a very, very tiny role, but I remember that I had a little tiny solo, and at first I was so flaky, because I didn't want to do it, because I was like, no, this is too much, everyone's going to be watching me, I don't want to. And the first time that we performed for an audience, I felt absolutely in love. And I thought that theater would be what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Okay.
And then because I stayed in that theater, because I loved the directors, I loved the people. And then my second or third play there, one of the directors was like, hey, I've got someone calling me asking for a little girl who's really cute and would like to do a commercial for dolls. Okay. And I was like, I mean, okay. Because I was like, I like theater, I might as well try this. Yeah. So I went to the commercial audition, fell in love, and I was like, Mom, we've got to do this. Like, I love theater, but I'm pretty sure this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And from that one tiny commercial audition, I went and I worked on it, and I'm here now. So I think the moment that I fell in love was the commercial audition.
Well, so talk to our viewers and our listeners, because we do a lot of film stuff on this show. We do a lot of independent filmmakers and a lot of not only established actors but also people that they learn from the show.
Yeah. Talk
about a little bit the difference between being on stage on a theater versus being on set of a film.
Well, one thing theater is, if you mess up, gotta keep going. Yeah. There's no, oh, I'm sorry, can we do this again? Or can I get some water? There's nothing like that. You keep going and you push through, which
No trailer, right?
Yes. No fan on you all the time. Theater, you have to keep going. Film, you can go until it's perfect. Okay. So you have to nail it in theater. And also, one thing that I remember in one of my first acting classes with theater, you have to be so loud and project, and you have to be over the top because all the people in the back can't see tiny facial things that you do. In film, one of the reasons I love it so much is that you can be as natural as possible, and you can be quiet if you need to, because it doesn't have to be theatrical. You can do the most natural thing in the world, and it comes off as exactly what you wanted. So that's kind of why I like it more, is because I like the natural.
When you sing, who are some of the influences, or who kind of influence you to sing, or what?
I really like the way that, I've never been asked this question before. I gotta think about it. I used to take voice lessons a long time ago, and one of the ways that I loved to sing was smooth, jazzy type stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Just because coming from a fine arts school, musical theater is the only way that people can sing. Right. I don't like that as much. I mean, I enjoy singing musical theater, but it wouldn't be my forte.
Sure.
And so, I don't know, any kind of smooth jazz singer, I think, is really inspirational.
Is it the presentation or just the cadences? What is it about it?
I think it's the way that they can change it up every time, and it still sounds perfect no matter what. And I love how they sing off the beats. And I love how they go in between the notes and all this stuff and the beautiful riffs. I think that's a true art form.
Yeah.
And I think Ariana Grande, I think I would pull some inspiration from her purely because her riffs are crazy amazing.
Right, sure.
And I would love to hit the whistle tones that she can.
Yeah.
But just the
Takes
smooth
practice,
jazz,
though,
of course, yes. Just the smooth jazz kind of keep you on your toes type, I think is beautiful.
And kind of upbeat as well,
Yeah.
So when you were starting to go to, again, you go to an art school, what was the intent there? Was it to be an actor? Was it to be a singer? Or I mean, obviously there was something there.
Yeah, when I auditioned for that school, I was in 6th grade, and that was when I was in my acting, theater, switching over to film prime. So I was because all the people that went to CATS and did plays with me went there.
Right.
And so they talked about it all the time. And I was like, this is such a magical place that you go to school for acting. And I was like, I've got to go.
Yeah.
And so I auditioned with acting and choir, but I still love to sing, not so much love to sing choir. So acting is kind of what called me there.
So could you see yourself maybe doing a musical in the future then?
I could. It depends on
the musical and if it's exciting enough, but me and my friend were actually just talking about we were going to do the musical next year, just for fun.
Well, you should.
Yeah.
It would be a great experience.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
So, talk a little about your experiences with the Dallas International Film Festival.
I had never heard of it or been a part of it before Edge of the World, but I think it's so cool that all of these movies are being submitted, and they're great movies.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad to have been a part of it, because it's definitely something that I will keep a watch on for the future.
Right.
Even if I'm not acting, just like observe and see all the new directors pop up and the new actors and all that stuff. I really liked it.
Well, I thought it was cool too that you guys were really one of the only like just kind of like full on family friendly.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. I mean, you know, film festivals are cool, they're arty and edgy and documentaries and stuff, but you got to have, you know, something for everybody there. You were talking earlier, talk about your preparation for the red carpets and.
I was freaking out, like I said before, because I wasn't sure if I was going to.
See, it happens to everybody. You see. Yeah.
And when I got there, I was like, I don't have any poses. I don't know how to walk across the red carpet. It was just so many little things that I was worried about. But the second I stepped on, and like my other castmates, I was like, this is good. Like, I've got this. I can pull through. And so it was really fun. It was such a, I don't know, I felt like you know, I felt like I was on my game, and I felt like that through the whole night. And then when it was over, I was like, did I just do any of that? Because all the interviews and all the pictures and all the, they gave me an escort to walk me from interview to interview. So it was very like, I don't know, it was kind of liberating, but it was really fun.
Well, but also think about that too, though. You know, again, I love how egoless you are and very selfless about it.
Thank you.
But at the same time, you know, you looked like a star. You felt like a star. You are a star. You were doing the star thing, and so that had to, you know, that had to been, you know, the kind of fruits of your labor, as it were, right? You were kind of seeing it kind of pay off in a sense, you know. I thought it was interesting too because, you know, like I said, when you came through on Thursday, by Saturday, you know. By the time you did like the third and then the fourth time, because did you guys did something on Sunday too, didn't you?
Oh,
or was
no.
it was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday? Was the 3 nights? Okay. But by the time the premiere came on Saturday, you were an old hand at this. Like, you know.
I feel like I got the hang of it. Hopefully I did.
But you also, you know, it's always, when you see somebody always in their element, that's when they're going to thrive.
Yes.
You know, so, and I was just, you know, we were all just so impressed with you. We were so impressed with the way, I mean, the presentation. Like I said, you know, whenever we did the interviews, and I was just like, we got to get her back on, man. Like, you know, this is, like I said, we said at the beginning of the show, you know, time's up. What's up with all the guys getting all the time? We gotta bring her back. So I was glad you were able to come back to do the show. I wanted to ask you also, you did a show called Vindication.
Yes.
Okay, so, and talk a little bit about that. Like, what is that? When can we see it?
It was a crime show.
Okay.
It was a faith-based crime show. So the episode that I was on, my dad had gone missing. And I filmed that maybe 4 or 5 months ago, but I recently watched the premiere. And right now I know that they're filming it in a bundle, I think, and they're about to send it out to places to get picked up.
I see, okay.
So I will keep you updated, but I'm not sure where you can see it yet. But when I was filming Vindication, I remember telling my family, because we went out to dinner after, like, we filmed for like 3 to 4 days, I think, and we went out to dinner, that I felt so in my element, like you said.
Right,
and it's just such a feeling of, like, accomplishment and satisfaction when you feel like you did a good job.
Yeah.
And so that was something I would be proud of. And Edge of the World, same thing. When I watched a premiere, I would safely be able to say, like, I'm proud of what I did. Because it's such a scary thing. I hate watching myself.
Oh, yeah.
I will never enjoy seeing myself blown up.
Yeah.
But I felt satisfied with how it came out. And in my element, I feel like is a great way of saying that.
I think it's a great representation, though, of also of the things that you can do. Like I said, we haven't yet seen you sing yet, so hopefully that's coming next. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
but I again, like I said, you know, there's this. You know, when I was talking about Mr. Barton earlier, was that. And this is no offense to any of the cast members of any other shows I've ever done, but like you ever seen Stranger Things, right?
Have I seen it?
You've seen Stranger Things, okay?
Yes.
So like I've interviewed Millie Bobby Brown, who plays 13.
Yes.
Okay. And then I interviewed the other cast members. Now let me humor me for a second with this little analogy.
Yes.
So so when I interviewed her, she was like 12. I mean, she's like a little girl.
Yes, yeah.
And I didn't even know she was British. You see, because she doesn't really talk on the show.
Yeah.
And she was more worldly and well-traveled and wittier and more clever at 12 than I will ever be in my collected life. And then I interviewed just earlier this year the other cast members who are now, I think, like 14 or 15.
I think so, yeah.
And again, no disrespect to them, but they were just normal kids, and that's fine too. That's totally okay.
Yes.
Okay. But there wasn't anything extraordinary in the sense of that they were just regular kids, and that's probably why that works for that show. Tell me some other projects tell me like a dream project for you. What would be something besides a musical?
Of course.
Yeah.
A dream project would be anything Marvel or DC.
Okay, so I was going to ask you if there was some nerdiness to you at all, because I was kind of picking up a nerdy vibe there a little bit.
Oh yes.
So I mean, I've got comic book tattoos, so I have no room to judge anybody or deny, right? So what is your nerdy thing? I mean, we have a lot of different things, but what is your one nerdy thing?
Oh, I would love to play a superhero of any kind.
Yeah.
Does not matter who. I could be a villain. I'm gonna switch it. I would love to play a villain. I would love to be the bad guy. Yes. Yeah. With superpowers. Oh my gosh. I think that would have to be my dream role.
But for you personally though, what is like your nerdy thing? Like my thing, like I love Star Wars and I love blah blah blah, but my thing is comic books. So specifically G.I. Joe comic books. See? Yes. So what is like your one thing? What's your?
I think my really nerdy thing that's kind of like a little bit embarrassing. I love Teen Titans. Okay. Not Teen Titans Go. Don't get me wrong. Teen Titans. And I talked to my dad a while ago. Like I wanted to read the comics. I love Teen Titans, and I'm so upset that it got switched to Teen Titans Go. Yeah. Which I'm sure it's a good show.
It's watered down and it's awful. And any purist of Teen Titans would be offended by this. It's okay.
Yes. Because my friend got me hooked on Teen Titans because she was like, "Oh, this show's great. Like you're gonna love it. It's so good." And I was like, "I mean, sure." So I bought all 5 seasons. They're in my room. I rewatch them anytime I feel like it. Probably gonna start rewatching them today because we're talking about it.
Right.
That's probably my super nerdy thing. Is 100% Teen Titans.
Now, it's not out of the question that will be. I don't know why it's taken them so long. I guess I know why it's taken them so long to make these movies, because I guess the technology wasn't there.
Yeah.
If you have the opportunity to go on Netflix or to go back, like I haven't seen some of the attempts at some of these superhero movies in the 70s and 80s, it's pretty comical. So but I was like, well, gosh, the story's already there. It's already been written.
Yeah.
So if maybe Teen Titans could be.
If I could pick a dream role, probably Raven.
Okay, perfect.
I would love to be Raven.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I just feel like that you have unlimited potential here, and I feel like that what we're seeing right now, and mark my words here, is like in 2 years, 5 years, whatever, this is going to be like, oh, that was one of Megan's first interviews. Like,
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, like this is going to be like one of those, like, oh my gosh. Yes. Like, I remember when I did that interview,
I remember when she was a little baby.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we're creating right now, is that future just superstar, and this is where it all began kind of thing. But again, this isn't your first role. You do have quite a few things under your belt.
Yeah.
Tell our listeners about some of the other things that you've been in.
Well, the very first thing that I did was Awkward. And I was in a little scene from that, and I remember they flew me out. I had a trailer, very luxurious.
Yeah.
And they flew me out, and I filmed the scene, and I was like, okay, because it was my first time filming in LA. And then I did a movie, Gallows Road, which shot local in Alito. And we filmed that for, gosh, I can't even remember how long. I filmed it when I was maybe 10 or 11, 12, one of those, or probably all of those. Took a while. But
yeah, for sure.
That was probably the first big thing I had done. And so that taught me how to like, and I made a lot of friends, and most of the people that worked on Gallows Road also worked on Edge of the World.
Okay.
So the homey feel from Gallows Road carried on to Edge of the World. So I was already like, okay, like I know some of these people. Right. I'm comfortable here.
That'll translate your performance, of course.
Yes, because I already felt pretty good where I was at. Trying to think of some other stuff. I was on Scandal Made Me Famous and Murder Made Me Famous. I was young Heidi Fleiss and I forget the other name. Jodi Arias.
Okay.
Yes.
Young Heidi Fleiss.
Yes. So those were fun.
Yeah. So I mean, like, were you? How were they portraying a young Heidi Fleiss in this? Like were you like being mean to your dog or something?
Heidi Fleiss. Was she Murder or Scandal?
Scandal. She had the ring of babysitters.
Yeah. Okay. So Heidi Fleiss. The scenes that I did. At first, I was being rude to my little sister, and then I was in my bedroom with a group of girls, and I was mapping out the babysitting jobs and like how much money I get from it. So I was a ringleader. Yeah. So that was funny. And then Jodi Arias, they had me watering a marijuana plant, a fake marijuana plant. And then I get arrested. And there's one picture that I always look on because it cracks me up for Murder Made Me Famous. And it's the cop, the guy who was playing the cop had me in handcuffs, and he was going like this, and I was like staring at him. The best picture I think I've ever taken. Because there's a marijuana plant on the table. The cop is so excited, and I'm done.
Okay, we have to put this up at trickykid.com so you can see.
I'll send it to you.
You're gonna see so Megan, you know, in her pot farm.
My first arrest.
Yeah, and your first arrest.
Yes.
Like the whole where it all went wrong. This
exactly.
Well, that sounds like that was a blast. That sounds like that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So last but not least, what do you think in terms of something that would really challenge you, like something that you would really like to challenge yourself to do? Period. Do two of them. Do two in your professionally and one personally. Like maybe personally might be like skydiving or something. But like yeah. But what is something in your professional career in terms of a role that you would love to do because of the challenges?
I think I would love to do a girl who is hardcore, like struggling through something, because emotional scenes always are where I get kind of iffy. I love drama, I love comedy, but crying and emotional always stresses me out because I'm scared that like if I get too vulnerable, it'll just be weird, or if I'm not vulnerable enough, it'll be unbelievable. So that's definitely one place where I would absolutely love to challenge myself and have a part where she at least has one mental breakdown. That sounds kind of weird. I want to have a mental breakdown, but
your girl interrupted moment, right?
Yeah, exactly. That I feel like that would be a good dream role.
Well, you're so. I think that would be great too because you're so likable and you come off as such an immediately likable person. So if you had to play somebody that was kind of mean, kind of something where you're trying to inspire fear of some sort or some sort of thing, that would be neat to see that happen at some point. See how that is handled. Yes. So why don't you tell our listeners and those watching on Tricky Kid TV where can they find you on the interweb so they can learn out more about you and your awesome career?
I am on IMDb. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at the Megan Dalby. I'm on Facebook at the Megan Dalby, and kind of embarrassing, I have a YouTube page, but I don't use it that much. It was just kind of like a funny thing I did last summer. So
this will be on YouTube. This will be on.
There you go. I'm on YouTube at Megan Dalby. It was a long time ago. It's kind of embarrassing, but it's funny to make fun of me, so go ahead and make your jokes. I'm good with it.
She's totally good with it because you're looking at the rocket to stardom. It begins here. So there's nothing you can do to her YouTube thing to embarrass her. Megan, I'm so glad that you were able to make it today. And
thank you so much.
Able to join us. Again, like I said, I wish you all the best in the luck with your career. Edge of the World, go see it. It deserves to be seen. It deserves to be supported. It's a great story. Megan is fantastic in it. So is the entire cast. Vindication, keep your eyes out looking out for that. And you'll be seeing links and all this on our website at trickykid.com. And once again, Megan Dalby, thank you so much.
Thank you.
like horses?
I'm leaving in 2 weeks, Willie. This place saved my life.
Now will ruin mine.
I'll still be here for state. I can still see you run.
I'm not running anymore. I was only running for you.